Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today we're going to talk about this incident that went down in the state of California on the 110 freeway, where a possibly homeless man, he hasn't been arrested yet because it's the state of California, decided to chuck rocks into live traffic, causing flat tires, a nearly fatal car accident, and how the state of California is looking for this person. They want to make an arrest, but the thing is, they don't think, despite the fact that this crime was caught 100% on video, they can press charges against this guy unless one specific person who was hit by one of these rocks decides to come forward. So essentially, the state of California is saying, we're just kind of going to let this one go. This guy's chucking rocks into traffic already caused a dramatic accident, among many other different problems, but unless the one person that they decided they're only going to listen to decides to press charges, they're going to drop the case completely. No, I'm not joking about this, and we're going to talk about it. But before we do, thank you to everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay.
Police continue to look for a man spotted throwing large rocks onto the 110 freeway, leading to a crash. All of it caught on camera.
So yeah, like you can see in this intro to this segment, the guy's actually on video, and it's pretty damn clear video, throwing mega-sized rocks into traffic, and yes, this led to significant consequences for drivers in the area, including one accident that, again, was nearly fatal, and the police are looking for him, but the plot twist, as I said in the open, is that they say that they need to find the person who got into the accident first, because it was a one-person accident, before they make any arrests or charge any crimes, which is absurd, because you can see him doing this on video. It is, in fact, dangerous. This is completely made up, but it just goes to show you that in California, with these district attorneys, you really have to raise the bar beyond the pale of anything rational and reasonable to charge anyone for anything. Again, I'm going to show you this video. I'm going to show you the damage that this did to multiple people's vehicles, and I'm going to show you what happened to the victim that they're looking for, that they say is the only one who could press charges, because otherwise you're allowed to, if you're a homeless person with God tier rights, chuck giant rocks into traffic at moving vehicles.
Yeah, and the CHP looking for this rock-throwing guy. They have their patrols out in this area, and they want to get to and find him before all of it escalates. But as crazy as this all is, there's another crazy twist to this. They want to find the guy, but before they can charge him with a crime, they want to find and talk to a victim, because you need to have a victim to have a crime.
Again, I will just say, for everybody out there in the audience, this is not true. This is inaccurate. You do not need a victim in order to charge a crime in many circumstances, and one of those circumstances would be, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, as somebody who's not a doctor, not a scientist, but definitely knows what he's talking about in this regard, is if you had HD video of the perpetrator throwing rocks at multiple people's cars on video, you could easily identify him. You don't need the victim.
The rock thrower takes aim and lets it fly, throwing big rocks right onto the 110 freeway, targeting motorists. Now, this guy is a target himself.
So we have this video right here. Everybody can see it. People can identify this individual. You can see multiple rocks being thrown at cars into traffic onto the freeway. And this is just before the morning rush. So as this area is about to be inundated by all these different vehicles of people commuting, these rocks are being thrown in. And one of the things that you also capture on this video is the impact when somebody, unfortunately on a motorcycle, ends up hitting one of these rocks that are being thrown into traffic. And guess what? This is the guy that they're looking for, and essentially they won't do anything unless this guy comes forward. And by the way, if you are this person, please come forward. I know Gascon is going to charge this guy with the absolute minimum and let him out anyway, but the fact of the matter is, we have to wait for him to throw even larger rocks for there to be any consequences, for somebody to die, before they say, hey, you know, person who is dead, do you want to pursue charges against this person? Because he's a homeless guy and he has God tier rights. And by the way, he likely only committed this crime in order to feed his starving family.
We want to just put an end to it before something bigger is thrown. Something more than somebody going down on a motorcycle, you know, something a lot more severe.
But seriously, everybody out there in the audience, prepare for this video. It's not particularly graphic or graphic at all, in my opinion, but I just want you to see how far this motorcycle ends up sliding and know that the guy is okay. He did get up from this. He did walk away from this crash, which is great, but it could have been deadly. It could have easily been much, much worse. And for what? For what purpose are we allowing this to happen?
Growing concern after this wild scene just before the early morning commute. He's throwing large rocks right onto the northbound lanes. Listen. That's the sound of impact. A passing motorcycle slams into the rock. Then moments later, this. A shower of sparks. That's the motorcycle skidding on its side. It's crashed. It's down. So is the rider. All this in the middle of traffic, right in the middle of the freeway.
Now, this motorcycle rider is incredibly lucky right here. You could see he gets hit at the impact point. The bike ends up sliding a really long way down the road past where the motorcycle guy is. He gets up, though. He has a little bit of a limp, but it appears that there are no serious injuries. But this is on a major freeway. What could have happened here is that even if he was perfectly fine, the vehicle behind him, if he was tailing him a little too closely, could have easily slammed into him, killed him. He could have died from this particular crash. And I just want you to know that this happened. We have HD footage of this happening, but in California, they're like, you know what? Unless this guy identifies that homeless person, unless he decides that he wants to press charges, we're going to let it go. We're going to say it's totally fine. We're going to say that that homeless person has God tier rights. He is Aladdin. We're not really going to pursue this because I don't know if you guys are aware of this legal theory that is not accurate at all. If you don't have a victim, if you don't have somebody saying, I am victim man of one specific instance, one specific person victimized by this homeless person because there are other people, then it doesn't count. Then no, don't worry about it. Cross your eyes or close your eyes, cross your fingers and pretend it will go away because we're not going to do anything related to this. And that's what this whole freaking segment is about. It's about the news trying to get this guy to come forward so that they can stop this homeless person because the police are saying, well, according to the laws that we just made up, it's not an infraction to throw rocks onto the road, cause damage to all these different vehicles, unless somebody hits it, ends up dashing down the road in a motorcycle, and then decides that they want to file a police report. The guy probably didn't even realize what happened because it's not like he saw the rock thrower on the side flinging them on there. That's why he didn't come forward. It was a self-inflicted crash. Maybe he decided to go to the hospital or whatever. Maybe he counted his blessings. But again, it's absurd in every way to assert that this guy has to come forward for you to arrest the other guy when you have, again, HD footage of the guy throwing the rocks onto the highway.
At that hour, nobody drives that limit. And fortunately for the motorcyclist, there wasn't somebody going 90, 100, and last minute isn't able to avoid, and then you have a fatality.
Now, if there was a fatality, then this guy right here from the California Highway Patrol would say, well, unless the dead guy shows up into court in order to testify, we wouldn't really be pursuing this guy chucking rocks onto the highway. Again, what are you even talking about? Why aren't you pursuing this person? It would be great if he came forward. Sure, fine, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, this right here should not be allowed to go whether or not he comes forward.
Oh, here's the deal with all of this. Before the CHP can find this guy, the rock thrower, they'd like to talk to the motorcyclist. No, he's not in any trouble. But before the rock thrower can be charged, they first have to have a victim to have a crime.
Of course, we need this victim to come forward and to assist him and hey, what were the damages? What are your injuries? And then we can go forward from there.
What the hell are you even saying? What are you even talking about? This is not an issue of a civil case where you have to prove damages in order to pursue charges. You have him on video throwing the rock there. And I understand it might be a dispute about whether or not you could charge a misdemeanor or a felony, and I understand that that might lead to a circumstance where you would hope that this guy would come forward, but the idea that you're gonna leave the rock-throwing guy on the streets, literally on the road, on the freeway, unchallenged unless this guy comes forward is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Again, how are you saying this? How are these the words coming out of your face? You're like, I'm the California Highway Patrol, but I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Unless you tell us exactly how much these injuries cost you, we can't do nothing. We need to know exactly how bad the road skidded on your leg before we pursue any charges. And it's really important for you guys to come forward if you can, because we're going to let this guy keep throwing rocks and he could eventually kill someone, and we don't want him to kill anyone. However, we're not going to do anything to stop him, like at all. We're not going to arrest him unless you come forward. So it'd be really nice if you guys would come and untie our hands, because we were messing around with rope and we tied our hands on purpose ourselves already. Like, what the sorry, I almost did a no word in the video. It almost slipped out, but we're keeping it clean right here. What the letter?
The rocks still on the freeway causing even more damage. Morning commuters stopped right in their tracks, their tires blown out. At least 2 cars here stopped there, changing their flats after running into the rocks.
So right here, you have other people who have flat tires. I guess the police don't count them as victims. They have blowouts due to the rocks. Also, we hear that the rocks are still on the freeway. It's got to be kind of crazy when the local news report of a rock thrower that had all these different problems, you show up and it hasn't been cleaned up at all. Again, what do California taxpayers pay all that money for, if not to have basics like the roads taken care of? Absurd in every way. But apparently these guys don't count as victims at all, even though a blowout at high speeds because of a rock flattening your tire could be deadly as well.
And then check this. The area along the freeway is all fenced off, but the gate, it's wide open, with a homeless hanging out nearby. The rock thrower is thought to be a homeless man. He is still on the move. Last seen casually walking away down Figueroa like nothing happened. Still considered very much a threat to strike again.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I really like the accent, the voice coming from this local news guy. He sounds like an old-timey detective in a movie. That being said, the way he distributes information, extraordinarily questionable. He's like, this area by the highway is completely fenced off. It's all fenced off 100%. But the door's wide open, so homeless people hang out here all the time because effectively it's not fenced off. It's like when you see images of the border wall and it's built out like pretty wide, but then you pan a little bit to the left and you realize it's a huge gap and everybody just walks around that. That looks like what we're seeing right here in this particular circumstance, and it's absurd. It's insane. And again, they're saying he's likely a homeless person. Chances are he has the look of a homeless person, so he likely is. But that is not something that's relevant to me. It's only something that's relevant to the state of California, because apparently you have God-tier extra rights, higher burdens of proof in order to convict or even arrest a homeless person. So they're going to wait until he kills someone before they decide to intervene. And by the way, for those of you who are going to say mental illness, sure, this guy might be legitimately mentally ill. But you know what? He still needs to be removed from the streets. The idea that if you're mentally ill and a danger to other people, we leave you on the streets because it's not your fault, you're mentally ill, is insane. He's chucking rocks into traffic. He's causing problems. Already a significant accident. We should not let that go. We should take that seriously, but it's California, so how can you take anything related to crime seriously? Again, I'm going to leave this up to you because I'm actually getting weirdly extra angry at this. I'm not exactly sure why. So I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. As usual, if you like the video, you show them by leaving a like. Subscribe for more content. Follow me on the social media. Support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about the absolute insanity out of the state of California, but what else can we expect? Till next time.